Hello everyone, how you doing? Welcome to another video log. Gonna cover a little bit about the stuff that I was working on for Outline. Some of it was known, some of it was secret, and also kind of give like a overview of what Outline was like. So first things first, if you don't know what Outline is a demo party that typically happens in Holland. For the last couple of years, it's been happening online because of the pandemic. It's organized by a friend of mine, Havoc, and a few other helping hands, but it's mostly Havoc running it. And it's been running for many years, I think 17. I never been there physically, despite being invited numerous times and having a lot of outline swag like beer coasters and bottle openers and stuff like that. So I wanted to participate this year a bit more than on the previous years. So I started working early on a couple of entries. I did a 256 byte intro for the TIC 80 and then 128 byte intro also for the TIC 80. I'll talk a little bit more about them later on this video. And then I started thinking of maybe doing a demo. I wasn't feeling very creative, didn't have like a specific idea that could be executed in short time, but I did find another idea that I had lying around for a while, which was to make something about crosswords. And I'll be talking a little bit about that, but also later on. I'm trying to structure this by order of things that happened. So as I was preparing for the outline stuff, I also assumed that I was going to participate on the byte battle, which is using the TIC 80 to live code an effect under 256 bytes against another coder live. And this had premiered at Lovebyte, a demo party that I helped organize. It was also online, and we had a few of these sessions with other people. I'm not sure if I commentated. I didn't commentate on that one, but I helped it. I helped the party overall, so I was involved in the process a little bit, and I was a bit sad that I didn't get to participate on the byte battle on that particular time. So when Outline came, I immediately said that I wanted in. I got a slot, so I started practicing for it, trying to do some effects, making sure that they fit on the 256 bytes. Wanted to explore doing feedback stuff because I didn't see many people doing that much. So I tried, and it's my kind of stuff. I like playing around with feedback and glitch and that kind of thing. So I did a few tests with that, like once every night or something like that. Just random tests, getting to learn the fantasy console a bit better, what functions exist. I try to use the sprite function, like write stuff into the memory and then use the sprite to put it but like stretched and rotated and stuff like that. I didn't completely explore it to the full potential. I still have to try a few more tests, mostly because it doesn't align correctly with the video memory on the visual. I think you call it VRAM. VRAM is the visual RAM. I hope I'm not saying any nonsense here, but the resolution that is on the screen is 240 by 136, and if you try to copy the entire screen somewhere else, like the memory that it's allocated for sprite management for the tiles and that kind of stuff, the tiles are supposed to be 16 by 16 or 8 by 8. You can define how many squares you want, but overall you have a rounding number of 256, which doesn't match your screen resolution of 240. So you need to take that into account, and I didn't do enough tests to figure out the right way to do like a pattern that you could copy exactly to the sprite and then enlarge it. But should be doable if you do like XOR patterns and stuff like that, and you wrap it around 256 instead of 240. It will not look very good on your main screen, but then when it's translated to the sprites, it will work. So maybe you'll need like a double buffer or first screen to capture that, and then don't save into it anymore and use the sprite in there, something like that. It's doable in 256 bytes, and I think you could do some interesting stuff with that. Anyways, that was what I was practicing on. That was what I was trying to do. So my main idea for the battle was to the test that I was doing was putting a line on top or some pixels on top and then feedbacking the whole screen, having it like scroll down with some changes and glitches and stuff like that. And for this one, I wanted to do it differently, having it focused on the middle. So doing stuff on the middle line and then both fading, scrolling up and scrolling down, scrolling up the top part of the screen and scrolling down the bottom part of the screen. Got stuck in the middle of the byte battle trying to debug that. The bottom scrolling was working fine, the top scrolling was not working fine, and I couldn't figure it out. And the time was ticking, and we only have 25 minutes, and I was starting to stress about it, so I just decided, okay, back to plan A, or, well, not plan A, the backup plan, which is just put stuff on top and scroll down. But it took me a while to do that, and then at some point I also rethought to myself, this is stupid, I should be able to scroll up, and I tried it a few more times and I still failed. So I wasted like 4 or 5 minutes just trying to get that working, and I ended up running out of time, and that's how I managed to put my feet crossed up and stumble in the end. For those who didn't watch the battle itself, I went over the 256 byte limit. I was desperately trying to make it look good because it wasn't looking as good as I wish it was, and I kept adding more stuff, and suddenly 40 seconds left, and I try to optimize some stuff to get back in 256 bytes. It's not enough. Desperately looking for something else to optimize, and I couldn't spot anything, and yeah, so did a final version afterwards when I was a bit more calm, and I could have just deleted one of the for loops and replaced it with something more randomized on that particular variable. It would have looked pretty much the same and saved some bytes. So, but yeah, you know, lessons learned. Anyways, it was fun participating on Byte Battle. When we were recording, because the quarterfinals were pre-recorded, when we were recording those things, I had like an agreement with all droids that we could, you know, trash talk each other. So that was fun as well in the beginning. The first minutes was just us talking back and forth some stuff. And I think that makes the whole battle experience a lot more interesting for the people who are watching. It brings more entertainment overall. Like when I screwed something up, I would write a comment, that's not supposed to work like that. Things like that. And I think that helped a lot with the whole performance. So I'm happy with that. I don't think it was like a waste of time to do those kind of comments. But overall, I feel a bit ashamed that I didn't manage to fit. Aldroid's effect was really good though. It was better than mine. Even if I had managed to finish the vision that I was trying to go for, I think Aldroid would still have won, but well, we'll never know, and I definitely want a rematch. Anyways, moving on to other stuff from Outline. So this was one of the things that I participated on, the Byte Battle. It was also cool to see other people participating. FMS Cat has some awesome effect using recursion. Gopher used also something similar to feedback, but he used, instead of using memcopy, he used the peak function, the peak 4 function, which I never really used, and I didn't completely understand what he was doing, even after reading the code. And I tried to reproduce it myself without copy pasting his code, and I still can't quite do the same thing that he did. He basically did a roto zoomer based like feedback roto zoomer, which I really like that kind of effect. He also did some water effect, water feedback effect based on that as well. So really interesting stuff. Not sure how heavy it is, if it's doable and still play music at the same time, but I definitely wanted to try that. And I was trying it this night because I'm working on something else for Shadow Party, which is this coming weekend, but the deadline is like already passed. But I still want to do like a final version and try to convince them to play the final version instead of the preview. Anyways, I was trying to get that to work and I couldn't quite manage to get it to working. And yeah, a lot of interesting stuff. Exoticorn made some awesome tunnels as well. A lot of interesting effects, and it was really cool to see. I think it was one of the highlights was the byte battles of the whole party. There were other stuff at the party as well. It was a 24-hour stream, pretty much. So they had like small commercials of old computers and silly stuff that was really cute also to see. They had a lot of DJ sets with people doing some live shader coding and others just DJ set. They also had the traditional shader showdowns, which were cool, slightly different format, of doing a round robin, but overall it was nice effects, nothing really amazingly groundbreaking, but it was pretty good overall. I think Cosa Mentale was my favorite of the whole thing. I think at least I remember 2 or 3 of his effects being really good, and I don't really remember many of the other effects. Well, I remember the Yi from Anticore, but that was because it was a Yi. So yeah, Evil also did some good stuff. I remember that. So yeah, Shader Showdowns always interesting to see. Of course, I prefer the Shader Royale format, but that's me. I can understand why Havoc prefers to do his original thing on his party. Up to him, so I don't really care. What else? Compos. So I did stuff for the 256 bytes and the 128 bytes, and wasn't expecting anything extraordinary out of them. I was happy with the 128 bytes that I managed to get sound in it, and like somewhat fitting to the thing. Was really happy about that, and it really saddened me a little bit to see it getting placed so low. I also missed it on the compo. I'm not sure what I was doing. I guess I was putting Afonso to bed or something like that. I missed the first entries, and I missed mine being played. 256 byte. I was around when it was playing, and I read the comments on Twitch, and that was great to read. A lot of people saying cool things that they liked the effect, and I'm happy with that because it was pretty much all my idea. Mentortronic helped me implement a part of it, which wasn't working, and he helped me like debug. But the original idea was mine, and I tweaked it a little bit more to make it fit. And I managed to get music. The music fitted with the visuals. Very happy with that. Of course, you could do more in 256 bytes, but I was happy with that. And I guess it placed very badly on the compo, and I was a bit okay. Well, that sucks. But you know, the other entries from both of these compos were good quality. So I mean, what this makes me think is that I don't really like compos. I don't really like compos. I like showing the stuff and that people see the stuff and tell me what they thought about the stuff. I don't like being compared to other people, which is an old argument and an old thing in the demo scene as well, and for me as well. A lot of times over 10 years ago, we have discussed, more than 10 years ago, probably 20 years ago, we were discussing we shouldn't have compos at certain demo parties. We should just have, showcase of new stuff and people not voting on them because some things are not to be compared to one another. And the demo scene came from a competitive nature where people wanted to be ranked, and it kind of just became the medium. And we should be trying something different instead of that, because some stuff is like potatoes and oranges. You can't really compare which one is better. It depends if you are in a more citric mood or not. So yeah. Anyways, I was a bit disappointed about that after the party when I saw the results. I was like, really? And I still want to see like the actual points. Like maybe it's close, and then if it's close, it's not that bad. But then if it's a big gap, then I'll feel even worse. So I don't know. Anyways, apart from that, the party was pretty cool. I participated on Outline Bar, I joined and talked, and it's pretty much just a jitsi conversation with like 10, 12 people, and people talking nonsense, other people replying some more nonsense, and a hard time understanding who is talking, and some people get disconnected, and feedback, and mute, and whatever. It's a bit chaotic, but it was all right. I participated in 2 of those, and I think it was pretty cool. So yeah, that filled up a little bit of the night as well during the weekend. Made the rest of the evening a bit unproductive, but well, at least I socialized a little bit. Then the wild compo. I did an entry for the wild compo, which was the crosswords thing. So I was watching Luguber's bingo night at Revision, where he did a DJ set with with a lot of demoscene music mixed into it, and he gave out different bingo cards, which you could get at a website. Each person got a different bingo card, and you had to try to make bingo. First person who makes bingo would win, and you had to recognize the thing. And I thought that's interesting to play with, like the historic archive of the demo scene, and do like a niche game for that kind of thing. So I was considering what can I do, and I remember an old idea that I had, which was to do a crosswords. And the problem with crosswords is that it has been done before, but not in newspaper format, where you have, just a square and everything really connects between one another. Because it's easy to make crosswords that just, go all over the place, and it's more like Scrabble than actual crosswords. But I wanted to do like a tight thing, and I figured there must be software that does this kind of thing. So I searched for a few of them, and there are some, and some want you to pay for some of those functionalities. Some just give you a list of all the dictionaries of all the words on a dictionary, and you have to decide which word you want. And then I found a repository that would actually take a dictionary, take a layout that you would give it, and it would try to autofill the stuff, and it would have some heuristics that you would try to fill a few things, and if you couldn't, you would backtrack and try again in a different way. So if you had a very large dictionary of all sorts of different sorts of words, and you can define the number of black dots that it would add, it would fill the square with all those words, which was interesting. So I tried creating my own dictionaries to be able to use, and for that I scraped well, I didn't scrape because the data is already available. So I got a data dump from Poet, and then I had to do like some queries to just get the outline data, and from the outline data I managed to extract all the groups, all the acronyms of the groups, the production names, all those kind of different data that are related to outline. That was what I was aiming for. The name of the platforms that they were used, the acronyms for that as well. And then there are a few rules on crosswords which you can't really escape. Like, it has to be one single word, it can't be plenty of them. So it's like, if a title is the beginning of the end, it's impossible to fit that into a crosswords. And you won't use just the, and you won't just use the beginning. So you had to filter some of the stuff, so a lot of work went into that as well. And then the repository wouldn't handle numbers, which I didn't particularly want numbers, but a lot of nicknames use numbers, a lot of references use numbers, so I figured, how hard can it be? Turns out it was a little bit hard, and my fix was a bit of a hack, because the code was meant for the ASCII code, exactly 26 letters, and high case and low case would be the same, and it would auto detect those 26. If it's 26, it's ASCII, and you just copy the difference into 0 and you use that. Otherwise you use whatever characters you want, and using whatever characters you want wasn't really working very well. It would give some weird UTF-16 stuff, which wasn't really mapping properly. So it could still be useful, but it wasn't working for the dictionary that I wanted. In hindsight, maybe I should have saved the dictionary as UTF-16. That might have done something. Anyways, I did a hack with the numbers. I put the numbers in front of the ASCII. I had to change the code in a bunch of places. Someone looks at that code, it's a horrible mess, it's a horrible hack job, but it works with numbers. That's what matters. Works, ship it. So yeah, I spent 1 or 2 nights working on that, and then I had the idea that I should use the B for the outline, the Atari B, because if you're gonna have black squares, might as well be like a recognizable logo of some shape or form. The outline B takes somewhat a little bit too much space, but I managed to do some stuff around it. Not all words fitted. I needed to cheat a little bit. I started adding a lot more words, trying to compensate some stuff. Ending up adding like all the opcodes of the 6502 processor, because those were like 2 letters, 3 letters sort of things. It's everything is 3 letters actually on the opcodes. So those would sort of help fill out, 3 slot words and those kind of things. Came up with a lot of those small things that I could just get from the internet and use. Usually was still not enough, still had to use some external words, but overall it went okay. When it came to export, I realized that this is gonna be a bitch to do an HTML out of just this text looking thing. So either I convert that into an HTML or I look for another program that, takes something in and releases out. And I found this crosswords editor thing called QXW, which doesn't have an autofill with the dictionary, but it does have like a dictionary, a special dictionary format, which I didn't even look into using, if I could convert my word list into that or not. But it lets you fill it lets you fill stuff up, and then helps you organize stuff. And it has an exporter to HTML, which was the part that I was really more interested on. And it also has a different way of running the crosswords. It doesn't need to be with just a black block there. It can be like a small divider as well, which was really useful to do some sort of different stuff. So yeah, that was because I wanted to keep the format of the entire B, but at some point there would be too big words to fit that. So either you would leave a blank there, which is actually possible on this website. On the original repository that I found that did the autofill, you could determine how many number of black boxes they would randomly put on the screen to help fit the entire heuristic and solve the problem. But if you put a lot, you kind of lose the original drawing of the bee. So I tried to reduce it as much as possible. It wasn't possible to reduce it completely. So yeah, I used a bit of both programs, and then I exported it. I still had to do a lot of changes to the HTML afterwards, making it look more like an Atari look, like the green and stuff like that, and making the squares editable, that you could like input a word there. So that took one more night or 2 nights, something like that, to get that working. Send it to Genio, see what he thought about it. I already had recorded like the presentation. I figured like I'd do some over-the-top script calling to action for people to participate on the thing, and that's the actual entry to the animation compo. And then I asked Genio what he thought about the video, the crosswords thing. He gave me a couple of tracks, helped me put some background music pretty much on the presentation, and also background music for the outline crosswords itself. I particularly like the outline crosswords music itself. It was a remix of Lisu's Invitation, which is really very related to outline, and also looped very well, which we did do some effort into accomplishing and testing. We did a couple of iterations, try to get the best out of it. And yeah, we're really happy with that. And again, it plays badly on the compo. Like 4 people answered the crosswords. Don't know how many tried it. That might have been interesting to if I had those metrics. But only 4 people completed it. And now, actually, a few minutes before I started recording this video, I saw that Raymond was also trying to do it on Facebook. He was posting help for 2 other Desire members if they could help him figure out the stuff. So maybe we'll have 5 people completing it. I don't know. Anyways, I enjoyed making that thing, so I'm not that bothered by people not really participating in it that much. But I was hoping it would have placed a bit better on the compo. I didn't see that compo. I was putting Afonso to bed, probably, again, because it was another night. And they always put the main combos exactly at 7 p.m., which is rush hour for Afonso. So yeah, I missed the wild. Actually, no. The wild compo was during the afternoon, probably around 3 or 4 for Portuguese time. And I had to go to the park with Afonso. That's how I missed it. We were like, Afonso was getting restless and tired of watching stuff and tired of playing in his room, and it was good weather, so I thought, okay, let's go to the park. And I just went to check the schedule of the party, what was happening, and of course the compo is about to start in like 10 minutes. Okay, I already told the family that we're going to the park, so if you have kids, you have to go take care of them. So we went to the park, and I missed the entire compo. I missed that because I really wanted to see like the reactions of people. Because I go to Puet now, and there's like 3 comments, and I don't know. It's a bit. What's the right word for it? The contrary of inspiring. It doesn't really motivate you to do more when like you don't seem to hit a chord. Of course, you do it for fun, and you do it because it's a challenge. And I wanted to experiment with crosswords. I want to do a few more crosswords, other topics, maybe for other parties. I don't know, stuff like that. And it's cool to have that thing figured out and ready to use for something else. That a greater vision, the next step on the artistic project of making your own crosswords. But feels like you're doing for a very small audience. 200 people were watching the stream. 5 people replied with an answer, and 3 people commented on the thing. And I mean, it wasn't like I spent months on it. I spent like a week or so working on it. But I don't know. Still feels weird. Should always do these projects for yourself and not expecting anything from others. But I think overall, what worries me most is that the lack of feedback. Either you're in there in the compo immediately, and people immediately tell you, "Oh, I saw that and it's cool," or it's like people don't remember anymore, and people don't care anymore because they're looking at the next thing, and they just don't reply to things. And I think we already talked about this on previous vlog videos when we were talking about demoscene stuff, that there aren't that many people commenting on Puet anymore. I even had this idea of doing like a constructive criticism website where you would post something that you did and wanted constructive criticism on. Just, not just it's great or it sucks, but, what you see in it, what way you would improve it, what you got out of it, constructive criticism, and it would be based on points. And the more constructive criticism you gave, the more you are allowed to request. So that's the idea for a website that I've been meaning to try out, but I guess it would always depend on like participation, number of people who are interested in doing that kind of thing. There probably are a few communities as well around, like forums and stuff like that, where you can go there and post and ask for, constructive criticism on your stuff. I don't know. I think I feel like it's a problem in society that we are mostly consumers, or when we critique, it's just I like it, I don't like it. And I speak against myself because sometimes I do that as well. I can't think of anything constructive to say about this. I can say, yeah, you are not quite there yet. Okay, what does that help the other person? Doesn't really help much. Or yeah, you could have done this. Yeah, but you know, the idea was to do something else. Also doesn't help the person to say those kind of things. So I don't know. It depends a lot on what kind of comment and criticism you're looking for as well, I guess. Anyways, back to outline and wrapping up the video because we already have an hour. Probably no one's gonna watch it this long. Overall, the party was pretty okay. There were some issues with the audio already. Some of it annoyed a lot. Annoyed me a lot in particular, especially the Discord pings that kept happening when I was looking at the stream and wondering where the hell the ping is from. Because, you know, why are you annoyed about a Discord ping? It's just a ping, just happening for a couple of hours, on a couple of nights. Yeah, but every time the ping hits, I look at Discord. I try to figure out where it's coming from. I don't have just 2 servers on Discord. I have like 50 or something. So I don't see any red lights. So I keep scrolling the list of servers, trying to find the red ping until I remember. Wait. The ping is from the stream. It's not from someone in Discord telling me something, but I still instinctively try to look at Discord, and it's really started annoying the hell out of me. Because it should be easy to fix. You just disable the audio notifications. That's it. So yeah, I was venting that to Havoc, and he said, okay, but our setup is more complicated. You know, we use the same computer to communicate and stuff, and I need the audio notifications, otherwise I lose track of the conversation. And at the same time, I'm trying to get the commentators on, and I'm just me and Numtech, and it's hard to deal with that. And either I spend a lot of time dealing with these small pings, or I spend a lot of time dealing with more important issues. I understand that. That's acceptable, and it's a skeleton crew, and errors happen, last minute changes also happen. They did a great job with that. The stream went on, the compos were presented, a lot of good quality entertainment was had. What really annoys me overall is that there is no out of the box fix for these things. Like, it should be like a checklist of things that you just check, you know. I'm gonna do shader showdown. So what do I need? I need the commentators here. I need the machine here. I need this stream. This stream will be streaming this, and test all of these elements. You know, do a test compo for all of the compos that you have. I don't know. I do that for Inertia and things work fine. I don't know how other parties failed at. I feel a bit bad when I say things like this, because it makes me look like I'm like bragging that I'm very good when I'm not good. And this is not experience speaking. It's like pre-planning and taking the time to test stuff. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm more of a pessimist and I get anxiety if I didn't test all of these things. Maybe I get more caught up and know that I have to do these things, otherwise I risk fucking up, and I really don't want to do that. That I test. I don't know. There's still things that happen wrong, even at Inertia and other events they organize. You know, last minute things going wrong can always happen, but there should be a way for you to list all of the things that you're doing, have backups ready for every single one, and having tested all of those, the main ones and the backup ones, you know, just test everything, pre-plan a bit ahead. You don't plan, and I'm not talking about outline in this particular case now. If you're having an event and you're organizing it 1 month in advance, you don't have the website ready, you don't have the system to receive the entries ready, you haven't tested the compos, you haven't finished your design. All of these things should have been done 1 month before the party, so you can focus on what's happening on the actual event, on that actual weekend. You need to be testing every single thing that you're going to be doing on that weekend. And it's going to be a lot of things, you know, different compos require different setups of your system, and you might require other people's systems to be working, and you need to check that, and you have to have backups for that. And I keep saying this, but it still feels like, I don't want to say that people don't pay attention. I know that a lot of people watched the video that I did, after Hogmanay happened, and reality screwed up a few things, or didn't plan things properly, or had more in his hands than they could carry. I did the video doing like a summarize, not really to shame Reality 404, but like listing all the things that you should do, because Reality 404 is not the only person who managed to do subpar work in presenting a demo party. There were other events during 2020. I'm talking about live streaming in particular. Other parties that felt like completely unprepared. They like requests entries to be delivered 1 week before, already pre-recorded in video, and they still screw up playing the entries. This like, for me, it doesn't compute at all. Even Revision had a lot of problems, but okay, Revision 2020 I could accept that it had problems because it was everything new. 2021 also still had problems. I don't understand. I mean, I can understand that the setup is a lot more complex and you need a lot more people, you need to scale a lot more things. You had a whole year to prepare for that. I don't get it. I really don't get it. I'm not bragging about what we do at Inertia. I know that it's a complicated thing. I'm just thinking, you have a lot of time to prepare for your party. Why aren't you preparing it already? You know that it's going to happen. You know there's going to be this, and this. Make a list of all the things and do a check on all of the things and their backups, because you're going to need backups. You're going to need plan Bs for all the things that screw up, like hardware, people that might not be there that are supposed to be there, things like that. You need those backups ready and planned and tested. I don't know. Anyways, I feel a bit stupid because I keep talking about this thing, and it feels like I'm bragging for the stuff that I did for Inertia, when Inertia didn't feel that much of an effort as well. It was just planning and focusing like a whole month planning and testing things. Anyways, and also my streams have a lot of errors as well, like in terms of quality and stuff that I could get, intros and graphics and those kind of things. I'm not saying that my channel is perfect and the way that I do things are perfect. I'm just saying that at this point in time, when you are organizing an event, there should be like some sort of list that you could go over and say, okay, for presenting this thing, I have these alternatives, I'm going for this one, and my plan B is doing that. There should be something like that, and there isn't. And that's probably one of the projects that I'm going to try to take on, is to do those lists and then go through the list with different party organizers and ask them how they handle those different things, and get that documented somehow, like into a wiki or something like that, someone who's organizing an event for the first time, or even reorganizing and doesn't remember or wants a proper checklist of the things, because there's always something failing. They could go over this document step by step and, have a mental recap in their head. What are their plans? Do I have this covered already? Do I not have this covered already? And all of the things that you need to do. So, I don't know, maybe it's like a post-traumatic stress disorder from the work stuff that I used to do. Deploying things that could not go wrong. If they went wrong, we needed to have immediate solutions for them. And I wasn't even involved in hardcore critical systems stuff. But you still felt the pressure that you could not fail, so you had to double check and make like checklists and make sure that everything was working, that you had a backup for everything. So maybe still that resonating with me in a bad way. Anyways, that's it for this video. Sorry for being so long. 40 minutes, this is huge. Sorry about that. For those who resisted till the end, thank you for watching. If you like the things that I do, and I'm going to be do a few more things, and I'll talk about that on some other video log. Check out patreon.com/psenough. Donate whatever you can. It's useful to pay my bills and all that jazz. See you next time. Bye-bye, everyone. Take care.